And welcome to the Groseal Township Community Recreation Commission meeting, August 27th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn.
All right, I need, everyone has the agenda in front of them. I need to know if we have any additions, deletions. Otherwise, I need a motion to approve.
I present a motion to add a presentation.
Okay, second. Bill? All right, so we'll put that right at the top, right?
What is the presentation? I'm sorry.
What's the presentation?
The presentation is the Eagle Scout presentation by Aaron Valaquette.
Okay, second. All those in favor say aye of changing the agenda.
Aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed, motion passes. Okay. With that being said, got that going. The approval of our minutes from July 22nd. And we also have here the August 12th special meeting minutes also. So I need a motion to approve those. Otherwise, if we have any additions, deletions, or changes, a motion to approve would be in order.
Moved.
Bill, second.
Second.
Ethel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, let's go to public comment, non-agenda items. Anybody out in the public for non-agenda items?
Hello, Kathy Walker, Thorpe Court. I was just a couple things. Status of the fundraiser for the ice rink. And I haven't heard anything, and I know you mentioned that you're going to have a big announcement within a week after we asked, and I haven't heard anything, and I was just wondering
I
where we're
don't
at.
think we said that we were going to have a big announcement. I think what we did say is that the community groups were working on one.
It said a week after.
I don't believe. I'm sorry. We don't have an announcement for you, Kathy.
You don't
Sorry.
have anything now?
No, I do not.
Okay. Secondly, what is the status of the, I guess we're moving forward with the splash park. When will they be delivering the components to Groseal if you're moving forward with the splash park?
I have no idea.
That be in the contract?
I don't have the contract. I didn't sign the contract. I don't know nothing about the contract.
Oh, I
That
thought
would
you
be
might.
the township board. They're
Oh,
the
okay. I
only
thought
ones.
perhaps somebody here would know about that.
Township board is the one who approved everything, so.
Well, after it was recommended. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, now we got the presentation for the Eagle Scout, Aaron Valaquette. Hello.
Hi. My name is Aaron Valaquette. I'm a Life Scout from Troop 1721. I'm currently working on my Eagle Scout project. We've been probably working on it about 6 months now, and we've actually just got a flagpole donated from Rick Fazell, and we actually just got it delivered to Centennial Farms. It's just on, if you look right over there, south of the parking lot. It's just laying right there until we have the opportunity of putting it up and placing it. But before we do anything like that, we have to buy all the landscaper and the cement like that, which would probably cost around $1,000 maybe. And that's just.
Are you getting donations for this? Is what you're getting then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping to get a couple donations for that. So. And a couple of things we're looking at about getting is paint, which we've actually found like a silver paint just to put on. I don't really know what it looks like
It's
right
a
now.
specialized
So
paint for galvanization.
yeah,
Okay.
and we also have rope, or we're looking at ropes right now, and they're a truck and a pulley. We're looking whether we should put an eagle or a ball right on top. I was thinking of either putting eagle on top, only because it's the Eagle Scout project. That might go pretty well.
Apropos, right?
Yeah. And J bolts for the bottom, and the flagpole is about 40 feet tall, and we're really proposing on just getting the cement right now for donations.
They're going to be lighted. It's going to be lighted? Lights on it, or?
We don't really know yet whether we should put lights on there. we're still debating. But
I mean, if we otherwise,
like solar
we can't
panel-
flag up at night.
Yeah, if you're going to leave the flag up, it's got to be lit.
doesn't? Okay. Yeah. Whether we should just get like solar panel little lights to put right on the path or something like that, or is that
Got to be shining at the flag.
okay? All right. So I
Doesn't
guess
have to be a big spotlight as long as the flag is illuminated.
They do make those solar lights that you can mount to
yeah.
To a pole
poles
like that.
just for flags.
Okay, cool.
What, on the pole itself or a
It'll
pole
mount
around
right
it?
on the pole itself. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's so tall, something small on the ground, probably if it's something small, it's not going to light up to the flag. So if you put it up towards the top, then it'll illuminate almost downward onto the flag.
Yeah.
That would be good for vandalism if anyone, nobody will mess with it too, all right? If it's up in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they mount right to the pole. I've seen them.
Yeah.
And they're very bright. It would work perfect for your application.
Okay. Yeah, sounds really good.
So where's the location we're talking about, Aaron, at here?
Well, where you see the star, that's where we're thinking about proposing to put it, because that's the first thing everybody's going to look at once they go into the parking lot.
Is that the shape that you wanted the cement to be like that then too? Is that?
Yeah, right between those two trees.
But it's going to be a star shape.
No,
Oh, no.
we just put
No,
the
no,
star.
no, no.
okay.
That's just a place where,
Okay.
where you can see it. We're actually, when we first got the pole, we were actually thinking about putting it right by the pavilion, but that we feel like that's too far back. We just want to put it a little farther forward so everybody else can see it, because most people might not go back there.
And you're okay with this location? You're fine?
We'll review it.
Okay.
What about who should people contact if they want to give you donations? I mean, you got a contact person, or should they come directly to you, or go through?
Probably directly to me would probably be best.
Or
Or
how
go
about
through
contact?
Brandy if you want, then Brandy can get a hold of Aaron.
Absolutely.
That'd probably be easier.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you suppose on starting this project then? Is there a due date, a start date, whatever?
Well, if we get donations and we buy the cement, we hope we can put the cement in September.
Okay.
So, and then we'll lay it down for 1 month, and then we'll move on from there and see what we can do with the donations that we have left.
Said the pole is on site right now?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And it's in the middle of the field then, right? That's okay? Or we should put it away in a
Point
maintenance
here.
barn or something like that then?
Is it off the ground? It is.
Yeah, it's laying off the ground right now, just on bricks.
Pretty heavy or what? Is it
That's
pretty
right
heavy?
over here.
Over 500
If
pounds.
you go
Oh,
all the way down right over there, so.
okay.
We've been working with DTE. They actually removed the pole in LaSalle where it was donated from, and they used one of their pole trucks, and they were generous enough to help us out with it and then transport it up here and place it on our stanchions that we had set up.
Okay.
And we hope that our schedules will coincide so they can also set it for us, because it's quite a massive pole and it's heavy. It's probably well over 500 pounds. So they can set that like they set a telephone pole.
Oh, very.
Did you want to talk a little bit about the flags?
We're hoping to get a probably by 8 by 12, since it's a 40-foot flagpole. But whatever you guys would probably propose would, might be a good idea.
We don't want to poach a stamp one, that's for sure, right?
I mean, I don't really know what the best, because I haven't seen it up, like standing up. The only time I have seen it was probably in LaSalle, and that's when it wasn't in the best condition. So when we paint it, it's going to look a lot nicer and everything like that.
Have you
so.
seen the flagpole at the marina?
I mean, are you talking about the four?
Water's Edge.
I have, yeah.
Okay, that's probably about 40 feet.
That's about a 40-foot pole.
Okay.
It's not as elaborate as the one at Water's Edge, but it's bigger, girth-wise, and probably about the same height.
Size flag, do you know what size flag they fly at Water's Edge?
I do not. They recommend for this size flagpole, the minimum of 6 by 10 and 8 by 12 would be standard for it. And so as time goes on, we hope to find flag sponsors to purchase the flags, donate them. They'll have a temporary plaque on the pole stating they were the donors of the flag, and then we rotate that as new donors put their flags up.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just have a comment. Yeah, that flagpole at Water's Edge is beautiful, and that was a Scout project as well. And I know they worked with a vendor called Rocket Enterprises, and they've been out to service it and help us get the flags corrected position-wise. So I don't know if you're looking for a vendor, you already have one, but they're a very good vendor in that flagpole field.
What was it by?
It's called Rocket Enterprise. I just brought them up on Google because I remember they were there about a month ago helping us with a little repair work with the lines.
Okay.
They have advised us. We've
Good,
called
thank
them
you.
and advised. They've
And I would
advised
get
us.
with Bob, too. Bob is our dock master down there.
Bob Lang
He
was instrumental in
for
that
too.
project. It was a wonderful project with the community and the Boy Scouts.
Absolutely beautiful. So we hope to have that up and have a raising of the flag ceremony hopefully in October. We want to let the cement set about a month, and in September when it's cool,
Yeah.
so it properly hardens, and then we'll make arrangements with DTE to set the flagpole. So we are changing some of the hardware on it. The truck that's on top that has the pulley in it, it's old and outdated. We want to replace it because once you put that pole up, you know, it's going to be difficult to service anything. So we want to make sure everything's done before then. We'll change the lanyard on it, the cleat that's on it, and of course it's going to have 1 1/4 bolts holding it down, big massive
Yeah, J
bolts
bolts. So
that we will mount first, and then the flagpole will just sit on top of them.
And I would ask the township board to get a Girls Eel flag for underneath or something like that, too, see if they'll donate one of them.
We have them available.
All right, any other questions, you guys?
Oh, just great luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate the hard work.
One thing we are trying to do on this is we're trying to complete the project purely on donations. We have done some fundraising, but everybody's been so generous. We've had the flagpole donated. We have some of the hardware being donated. And we haven't solicited yet, but we hope to have the cement donated. The person who's going to do the excavation for us, because of the amount of space needed for the cement, we'll need heavy equipment to do that. So he'll come in and pro excavation volunteered that. And so we hope to do everything on sheer donations. And we hope that we don't have to do any fundraising, but that may slow us down a little bit if we do have to do that.
Doing the excavation, did you say? I didn't catch it.
Pro excavation.
excavating,
Yeah,
okay.
they'll bring a bucket over and dig our hole for us. And
yeah, we have around.
Sure, Brandy wouldn't mind you putting up a little flyer or something, even to say what you're doing and that you want, some donations. Put it over at the farm, put it at the water's edge,
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Let people know what you're doing.
Yeah, we've raised about a little over $300 at Kroger in the past month or so.
Good.
So we really don't know what we're going to spend the $300 on, whether it's
Surprised the Girl Scouts let you be there.
we had to battle them. It's quite competitive. But people are so generous there. We want to thank everybody that did donate. It was hugely appreciated.
As I mentioned earlier, as a veteran, come to our meeting and make your presentation, and we have been 100% supportive of Boy Scout activities, and again, it's up to you as to what you're asking for and how they vote on it, but come to one of our meetings. The next meeting probably would be the best.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, chairperson's report. All right, I want to discuss a little bit about, we had some emails going through, and it's really revolving around the splash park, the events about what this commission did, and then, going up to the township board, and then where we're at right now. I just wanted to ask, is everybody clear on the events and where we're at right now with the splash park? Questions? Anybody? Everyone's good?
Hey,
Guess that's
Paul?
it.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe if you'd like, could you go over what happened, how it happened, and where it's at right now? Just
All right.
for clarification for
Okay,
everyone.
so what we did, Brandy presented us with a presentation about a splash park, basically the kiddie area, and an extra area I think you had too, right? What was that called again?
It was a water journey.
The water journey. And the basic idea was that, we always lose money in the pool. Doing the same thing is really redundant and stupid because we never get the same. I mean, we always got the same results. We always lose money. So her idea was to try something new. She presented it. We liked it. We, passed it on to the board for their approval. And that's where she presented the financing end of it, the basic structure of the plan, timeline, repayments of it, stuff like that. The board approved that, I believe, 4-2, or because we had one absent, right? And then it went from there. Then we had the contract was signed moving forward to start it at the basically, I want to say November, December. We're going to start the project a little bit. And then in the spring, have everything ready to go and installed, ready for our summer thing. So that's where we're at right now. All right. Yep. Okay, director's report. What do you got for us? Some good updates?
Is that your only report?
Yeah.
Okay. Water's Edge Restaurant, we had our special meeting a couple weeks ago. On Monday night, we had Smokies on the Water. They were approved by the board, so we can begin our lease negotiations with them. So we're very excited to, get everything concrete and ready to go. So they were excited. They were at the board. The board is very excited about having them come in.
Okay, so they showed up then for the board meeting?
Yep, they sure did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, they were there, and we're gonna Thomas Horty and myself and their people will get together, and we'll. Tom is kind of drawing up a general lease right now, and then it goes back and forth. But I would think that we're pretty solid on what's going to be in there. It's just kind of dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's and making sure everything, all the nitty gritty is in the print. So that should take. I'm hoping that we present it at the September 14th meeting, but if that's not ready, then just depending on how many times we kind of go back and forth, the final product might not be presented until September 28th. So, but it'll be within the month of September, and then everyone kind of knows what's going on and everything's in stone. So, but we don't see any problems from here on out. So we're looking forward to them coming in and putting their spin on it and, welcoming them. And, it's going to be, there's a lot of new things happening at Water's Edge for sure, between rebuilding after the fire, the new restaurant, we have a lot going on. So it's going to be, in 1 year, it's going to be a different place. Literally, it's going to be different. So the kayak launch, the shoreline work and installation, I guess there was a little bit of delay on getting the steel that they needed. So it should be in this week, and they're looking to begin next week. Once the shoreline work is complete, then we just approved on Monday night also the bid for the asphalt. There were when we put it out for bids, no one bid on it. So we went back to Wayne County and asked them, what are our options at this point? We proved that we posted it. We showed the zero bid, and we asked if we could contact some local vendors that we use and are under contract with the township, and they said that yes, we could go ahead and do that. And so we did get a bid from Campos Brothers, so we're very appreciative of that. The bid came in a little higher than what we budgeted for the cement portion of it or the asphalt portion of it, but the other parts of the project are under, so we're still going to be on target.
Okay, good.
So,
and we're gonna start thinking about what we're going to charge too. You got any ideas about that? I mean, obviously this year is going to be another wash. It's going to be something for the spring. You're thinking then, right? We're going to start charging then, whatever.
And we have to determine at this point, since it's so late in the year, do we actually want to install the dock this year and then take it out in a month? So my guess is the actual dock won't be installed until next year. That's just my gut feeling on it. And then we would open it up at that time.
Really, just for a couple months?
It has to be removed. So, it's...
Yeah, right? What's the point, right?
The only, it depends on Wayne County. If they really want to have a ribbon cutting ceremony this year, then we have to do it. If they're good with us having a ribbon cutting ceremony in the springtime, then my suggestion is that we wait until the spring to do it to save the money on the install and...
Wayne County wants a ribbon cutting?
Well, it's grant money through Wayne County, so...
Does it have to be spent by a certain date? Typically, I think that's what they want.
We have already, we've exhausted our 11 and 12 funds,
Okay.
So the final part of the project, once we have, it'll be the rest of the shoreline work, and then all the asphalt will be in our last budget year. So we have until, I believe not until next year that we have to have it spent, but we'll have it spent by the end of September, beginning of October.
And this would be Joe Palomara's thing, right? That we would invite him then maybe or something like that?
We would invite all the local officials and our state officials and Wayne County officials. So it's a project that everyone's kind of watching. So, you know, they might want us to have it in the fall. So we'll have to have some conversations once we're kind of to the point where I feel comfortable that everything's going to be done and ready to go before we would commit to.
And with this, we're going to have the announcements, whatever, that make sure that we're in that kayaking thing and everyone knows about. Okay. Any questions on the kayak? All right, what else you got?
Hopefully everyone has received their channels in the mail. If not, yesterday or today, I'm sure you'll have it by tomorrow. And then there's some in the back, and then I put some up on the podium for you guys. So hopefully everyone looks through it and finds some great things to participate in. So far, the new format everyone has talked about and really has said how much they like it and how colorful it is. So until something better comes along, that's the format we're gonna follow. And the next one will actually come out earlier in the year. So instead of waiting till summer, we'll have spring, summer. So our issues will be fall, winter, and then spring, summer. Because what we were doing before, we were just putting summer, and all the other seasons were in one book. So we're kind of divvying up the year, so it makes a little bit more sense. And then our spring, summer will people who want to plan activities for the summer will have, you know, they'll get the brochure sooner, so they'll have an opportunity to kind of plan out their summer with different programs.
So what about other departments? There no one wants to get in on this there then, or what?
We have the water department in there. They put some information, and then we have a township page with the department heads and contact numbers. But a lot of the information that was put in there was the same over and over, and the same stuff that's on the website. So we ask if they have anything new or anything that they want to highlight, and most of the departments say they can put stuff in. And the pages are smaller, so we don't want to spend extra money on pages that are just fluff pages. So it's really getting down to the nitty gritty. It's our programs and a few other charitable nonprofits that we've put in there.
Yeah, like the boosters. That's new, right?
Yeah, well, they were in there last year, and they're working on some joint programs with us.
Cool. Well, I like it that it's a normal piece of paper size, so that's cool.
Moving on, Water's Edge, the golf, the barn, the investigation. They've closed the investigation on our end, which means they're still investigating it on their end. They've pulled the truck out of the facility. My guess is relatively shortly they'll start removing the debris and getting it off site, which will be nice.
When did this fire happen now again?
June 26th, I believe. So
That's not bad.
it's, I mean, to us,
Not to
it's
be able to do any concrete though, or anything like that, right? I mean,
well, we're not putting back in the same spot, so that doesn't really matter. We're next week they're going to start removing the spoils that are behind the building. There's a rather large pile of storm damage material. I guess there's some spoils from when they did marina work. I don't know exactly how the pile got started.
I don't know, but that pile is huge.
It's quite
And
large.
we can never have that happen again.
It will not. Not under my guard.
I mean, I cannot believe how big that is.
So, making lemonade out of lemons, we are going to clean up that area, get the spoils out of there. There's a couple old trailers back there that we're going to clean up and get rid of. And so, fresh start. So we'll move the building back. So one, we have more parking for Water's Edge, and we'll have a different entrance for the maintenance area, which will be safer for our employees. Right now, the way the driveways are set up, people come in. Oopsies. The new microphones.
It's all right. Ted's not here. He left.
The way the driveways, if you're coming down Bellevue and you come in, people just come right in, and if the mowers and the guys on the mowers are coming out of that driveway, it's not set up great for that. So to have a different entrance that we can access and the guys can go in and out of with their mowers, it'll just be much safer, and it gets them farther back down Bellevue. So, it takes some time. We do have the advancement on the building, so we can start purchasing things, but we need to do it right and plan it out. And so one of the things is we need to get the spoils out of there to see really how much land we have, what's underneath there, how much of the brush on Bellevue comes in, and how much of that pile is the pile and not the brush. So they should begin. They did a meeting with John Keim, I believe. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? My days are running together. But they met and they said that they would start next week, and they should have it done by next week.
John is the DPS worker we're talking about.
Yep. So that's a big step to get all that stuff out of there, and then they can really survey the land, and then they'll start.
There's a bunch of debris too, I think. Right?
The bid, or when they came in, we took bids on getting a lot of the piles removed. So DPS is removing some of their piles, and then some of the piles I know are burn piles. So.
All right, not getting too micromanaging here, but since the truck got destroyed, are we still renting a truck? Are we going to be buying a truck right away? What's the plan for that, to get a vehicle and the equipment? What about the equipment?
That's all coming now. We received our settlement on the truck. We have not rented a truck. We've been using DPSs. They've been very generous to let us borrow it for the summer. So we have that. So we have not been paying for a rental. The
insurance have covered a rental or no?
They probably would have, but then that comes out of the total claim. So if we have a truck, why do we wouldn't want to waste that money on that? I had to go through. Well, first Mark and the guys pretty much went through and tried to remember everything that they could that was in that barn. And yes, so it'd be like going through your kitchen or your workshop and trying to remember everything you ever had in there. How many spatulas you have, how many, hammer. It was a huge task, and Mark did an amazing job. Like, I'm looking through the list, I'm like, how did you know we had 22 spark plugs? But he lived it, and
was he able to save any of his paperwork out of his office, or that was nothing, right?
We haven't really been able to get in there until this point, because you can't. The only people that have been allowed to be in there have been investigators, and then there's 10 of them that show up at any given time when they do something. So we have not been able to get in there. Like I said, they just cleared the site when they took the truck out of there, because they do feel the fire started with the truck. Whether it was something internal in the truck, whether it was an aftermarket piece with the blade, the snow blade that we had on the truck, the mount. We bought it that way. So, and it really ultimately didn't matter how it happened on our end. We were covered. So really, it's how, if they want to go back to Ford, or so that, like I said, yes, it's all it's out of our hands and all within them. So the hard part was we couldn't get into the building, we couldn't move anything, we couldn't really do anything until that investigation was done. So that just happened this week. So I have to talk to our adjuster, and then she has to clear it. But the lawyers have cleared it on our end. They've taken it out. So any investigation or anything that's done further would be with the truck. So they took it off-site to a holding. There's a place off of West Road, I believe, in Woodhaven. And I guess it's like a graveyard of cars and things that have burned in fires that are still under investigation. So we have a big 10-digit number of where our lot is. And so any investigation would be done on the vehicle. So the site has been cleared for the
So if you got the settlement on the truck, then are we planning on getting one right away then? Or what are we doing?
Well, we're going to start looking. Really, I didn't want to do anything on any equipment or anything until we had a number. Is it 100,000? Is it 500,000? And we just don't know that until what we've done. So Mark made the list, and then we met with an equipment specialist that the insurance company hires. This is what these people do. They go to different natural disasters, or we're a big claim, or they call it. So anything that's a major claim, they have these people come in and kind of walk you through the process. So what we had to do was we made our list. He kind of looked it over, and we talked about some things. And then my homework was to place a value on all the items that we lost and provide backup. So I spent a lot of time on the computer and
Documentation of that pricing, whatever you're talking about then?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So I have a packet of papers about this thick, and it's every hammer, screwdriver, bolt, equipment, so everything. So we just met with him this week. So it's taken really that long to kind of.
How do you do Mark's fabricating parts or tools? He did too.
Some of the stuff was lotted out, and what they call it, it's an estimate. So that's what this gentleman did, and he was very, very nice to work with. He was very easy to, you didn't feel like he was, oh really, you had that many. He was very he's like, oh okay, so. And he does this for a living. So he was in Oklahoma when they had the tornadoes, and he helped the schools through their process. So this is what they do, and so they have a really good feel for equipment. And I mean, we run a golf course, a marina, a driving range, and a pool out of this maintenance barn. So he knows there's a lot of stuff in there, and he walks through it. And so it's been a heck of a process to go through, and I thought I was...
Wait then until you get that final number for everything, and then we can prioritize what we need.
We met this week, and we went through the list. Mark, his name is Mark, so Mark, and myself went through the list and really kind of fine-tuned it. So I had 2 little homework assignments that I had to find and I had more clarification on. So now what I do is I give them I have to scan them that my pile of papers, and they are all marked with a number, and then that number is cataloged on my list. And so he goes through and makes sure what we're giving him seems right and appropriate, and then he gives his recommendation to our insurance adjuster, and then we'll get a number at that time. And we have pieces of equipment that are what they call on a schedule. So we have X amount of equipment. The whole township has X amount of equipment. Say there's 30 pieces on there, and it could be anything from our play structures to vehicles to the computer supplies, there's a multitude of things on there. And then those are scheduled items, and they have an assigned value and price on them. So those, some of our equipment was on that. And unfortunately, it's not high coverage because a lot of our equipment was older. So I have no idea where it's going to come out right now. It's probably not going to be as high as I would like it. But once we have them, it is what it is, and that's what we'll have them.
The newest thing here was our tractor that we got.
Yep. So I know Mark's chomping on the bit for me to say, let's go by, but it's really, and I feel for him because he's trying to maintain a golf course. And again, Jacobson's and Toro through Spartan Distributors, they've been amazing, and they have let us borrow, but we're at the point where they're like, you got to do something because it's the end of their demo season. And so they sell the demos at the end, and then they get shipped new demos. So it's not that they don't want to help us anymore. It's just they don't get their new product until they sell their old products for demo. So they would really like us to make a decision. So we have some, Jacobson's has provided quite a bit of, they have what they call CPO product. They're certified pre-owned. And so what they do is, I don't know if they're not demo pieces, but they're pieces that have very low hours on them. And what they do is they send them back to the factory, take them all apart, clean everything, and put them back together. And then they're given, I believe, the same warranty as a new one. So those are discounted, but a lot of times with a government bid or large bid packages like we would be in, they're not that much different. So we kind of got to really weigh out if it's something that we use all the time.
Been brand new.
Yeah, do we want to save $5,000 and get a used one, or do we want to just spend that $5,000 and then items that we use more seasonally, like the beginning and end only, then maybe those are the ones we buy used or CPO. So Mark and I have had many conversations. He's making his wish list of everything that we need, and then he's ranking them like in order of importance in ones that he feels are okay to buy used and one that he'd rather see we buy new. And then it just...
Some of those mowers, we're talking a lot of money.
Yeah, they're costly, and you don't just have one. There's multiple mowers for different types and different parts of the fairway.
Our rough, our greens,
trimmers,
our fairways. So a lot of different things. Okay, so once you get everything tied down, but we don't anticipate buying anything probably by the end of the year, or
yeah. Once Mark the part man, he once him and Debbie, who was our insurance director, once they kind of reach a number that they're comfortable with, then they talk to us, and then we kind of talk through, well, because they'll apply some types of depreciation to the stuff on the list, and it can go anywhere from 3% to 10% per year, and so it's based on the condition. So I can say that they were in excellent shape for their age, and they were. But how do you prove that when they're a pile of burnt, crispy pieces now? It's really hard. So they have to kind of...
Really nice.
Yeah, I swear it was nice. But, you know, I have to be honest, you know, sometimes you fear working with insurance companies because, you know, they don't want to give money. I guess the fear is they want to keep the money. We need the money. But they have been very fair, and they have been... I haven't felt like they were out for themselves and not for us at any time during this process. So, you know, Daily Merit has been wonderful. Deb DeLong at Travelers has been wonderful, and Mark Bingham with his company. They really have walked us through the process. They have been very nice, and I feel like our best interest is there and not necessarily just the insurance. So,
and this is just for the contents. To be clear, you guys, like what she's talking about is just the contents, but you do have a number for the structure itself and stuff like that, though. That part of it's done, right?
And we have, and it's a lot of jargon, but we have full replacement on the facility. The building, they give us, I believe the estimate was $187,000 to replace the building. So that is what they have given us, minus our $2,500 deductible. So what that means is if we go in and we purchase and build, and the pricing is a little bit different because it's based on national averages and, you know, what it'll cost for cement and the labor and everything, but it's all kind of averages. So what we do is we go and we rebuild, and if it comes out to $195,000, we would get the difference. Now, the only thing that they will not pay for is we are electing to move the building. So if we say it was going to take 20 feet to get all the lines to us, and now it's 40 feet, we would have to pay the difference between the 20 feet that we're adding on. So there is a bit of a cost to move the building, but I think it's well worth it in the end. And there's been several discussions about that as well.
Questions about that, you guys? The insurance claim?
A lot of work. The only thing I can say is as many times as I've been in that shed before the fire, and we all know Mark, he's done a magnificent job in maintaining equipment that was in the 70s, and it looked like it was brand new.
Oh, some
but
of our
it is
stuff
old,
goes back to the
and
50s.
everything he got, if you look at his truck, his own tractor, all the stuff he does is spotless. And so I admire you and him for being able to keep track and do what you're doing. And it really be a shame if they think that was a mess back in there, and it wasn't.
Yeah, no, they weren't implying that at all. It's just, you know, you have to, on average, if you think someone has a 50-year-old tractor, they're going to think it's a 50-year-old tractor. But our 50-year-old tractor looked like it could be in a museum, like it should be over, you know. So it's, and I think they will be on the low end. I think they realize with the amount of parts and the products and the conversations that we've had about, you know, Mark fabricating products and parts, because a lot of the equipment that we had, they don't make the parts for some of them anymore. So Mark has done an excellent job of fabricating those. And so I think we've conveyed as much as we can, and unfortunately in the fire was all of our maintenance records and all that, so we don't have any proof to show them that this is what we've done and the logs and everything. So, you know, they're going to have to take us at our word, and hopefully we come out on top. But I would imagine that we would be probably maybe at 5% depreciation instead of at the 10. So I'm hoping that we can get it's a minimum of 3%, so I'm really going to push for 3%, but I don't think it would be higher than 5%.
All right. Well, any other reports you want to updates?
Yes, I want to talk about the roof at Water's Edge. That has been on our CPI, our capital improvement plan, for a few years, and we went out for bids about 3 years ago. And when we went out for bids, Mr. Rooney had asked for an asphalt shingled roof and metal roofs just to get the price difference and what it would cost. At the time, there were several bids that came in, and at the time, I believe it was put into the budget last year, but the roof wasn't replaced last year. William Molnar Roofing contacted the township and said, hey, I did a bid a few years ago for a metal roof. Are you still interested? So they sent them my way, and I met with Rob from William Molnar Roofing. And they had a situation where they had a project in a different city that they had purchased the material, and somehow through the process a different shingle was delivered than what was ordered. And so needless to say, at the end of the day, the manufacturer and Molnar Roofing ended up with a lot of extra metal roofing. And the building that they had purchased was almost the same dimensions as Water's Edge. So they said that our proposal is we will donate the roofing material, so all the metal shingles, if you pay for labor and the underlining, the liner that goes underneath. So an 80.
Well, this good luck fortune doesn't usually happen to us. What's going on here?
So it is. It's an $84,000 roof, and we will get it for $43,200. A asphalt roof, it was approximately around $30,000. So for the extra $13,000, we're getting a roof that will last.
50 years.
Well,
40.
they can last a lifetime. What you need to do is you have to paint them eventually. They have a 20-year lifespan on the paint that they guarantee. So if you have issues after the 20 years, you'd have to paint it. But as far as the actual structure, unless there's some kind of damage, tornado or whatever have you, fire. Sorry, bad joke. But that's really the maintenance would be the paint on it. So that went to the board on Monday evening, and that was approved as well. And the nice thing with the project itself and the proposal was they knew it was not necessarily budgeted at that high of a rate. So they did say we could pay it over 2 budget years. So we would pay $20,000 out of this year, which we had budgeted for different maintenance items that we're going to designate for the roof, and then we'll have to put the $23,200 in next year. So they are really going above and beyond to kind of help us out, and it helps them out as well because they have product that.
Get rid of them.
Yep, absolutely. So they would.
Congratulations.
So they're asking that we schedule that for December or January on a slower season for them.
Cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then one other thing, the marina, we're doing fall haul-outs now, and we are taking reservations for winter storage. So if you are interested, please call the office, and we can connect you with Bob Lang.
Good. Any questions? All right, thanks, Brady.
A lot of work.
Yes. Prizes this year. Maybe Tim knew.
I need to talk to him.
All right, we got any old business that we want to discuss? New business. We got smoke-free parks. This is something you mentioned that before, right?
Yes, I would like to discuss with the commission kind of. I think we need to have discussion a couple different ways, but I do feel that, in the recreation department, we're promoting people to be healthy, active, and come out and golf and go swimming. And the issue with how Water's Edge is laid out, the front and back of the building is where people walk by the most. And then the back side of the building is where people walk down to go to the pro shop, go in, from the pool, use the restrooms, and that's where everyone comes out and smokes.
Restaurant.
Yes. And then if they're out on the patio enjoying their meal, they can't smoke in that area because you have to be like 100 feet away from food. Well, then they come by the pro shop door and smoke right in front of the pro shop door or right in the area. And I just think that, that is not the image and what we want our patrons to come through and walk through smoke. So when we were going through the proposals for the restaurant, when we interviewed the 3 restaurateurs, that was one of the questions I asked. Would you have an issue if our complex went smoke-free? And all 3 of them said no, that they were fine with it, that they would be happy to enforce that rule. And all 3 of them, were like, actually kind of glad that you want to do that. So I guess what I would like to kind of have conversation on is, how do you feel about that? And then some of the feedback I had was, well, do you want to do it on the golf courses? Because people like to occasionally have a cigar out on the golf course. So I just think we need to have some conversations, and that's something that if we're going to do it, I'd like to do it at the start of the year when we have a new vendor and a new restaurant going in, and kind of start everything at the same time. So I'm not looking for an answer tonight or anything to vote on, but I do want to have some conversation on what you feel about that. And there's a lot of parks that are smoke-free. I know Oakland County is smoke-free in all their parks, trail parks, water parks, day use parks. So a lot of nationally, a lot of company or state parks, national parks, local parks are all going smoke-free, little by little. And there's large amounts of them. I think California's all smoke-free. I don't think you can smoke in the state anymore.
Yeah. The thing I think of right away is like you're gonna have to have signs or something, and have somewhere to direct them where they can go. You know what I mean?
Smoke free.
Well, I mean, to go into the parking lot or something. You know, they tell them to go somewhere.
I mean, I know a lot of people like to, myself included, like to have a cigar when I'm golfing.
I mean, I don't.
Randy, you said Oakland County, and I know you know it well. What about their golf courses? Do they prohibit smoking on their golf courses?
I just don't see them stopping or preventing it.
Yeah, I think it's smoke-free, but I know there's cigars on the golf course, so.
I mean, because we're gonna have cigar police on the Rangers or something.
It's not something we can enforce out on the golf course, to be honest with you. But you can't enforce something that's not there. So if there's no ordinance or you can't enforce anything. So I mean, my concern is by the pool, by the restaurant, by the pro shop, at the range. So that's the area. I mean, I'm fine with going smoke-free everywhere, but realistically, I mean, I can't drive up and down all the fairways to see if anyone's smoking, so that would be really hard to enforce.
A requirement for you're not allowed to smoke within 50 feet. Cover Sharkies, or excuse me, Smokies on the Water now. It also would cover, that whole building.
It's something to do with food too, isn't there? Like a rule with food though too.
I don't know.
She said 100 feet for food?
I think it's 100 feet.
Well,
But if they're going to go, the only place they can go is around our door. So if someone's going to smoke.
That's an entrance. They're not allowed to smoke around the door either. I mean, so.
what if, what puzzles me is it's a very broad term, smoke-free. And if somebody wants to have their hibachi or their cookout in a park, what are they going to do with that smoke?
That's not the type of smoke we're talking about.
Well, it's smoke.
Yeah, but it's not
Some
tobacco
people
smoke.
find that as offensive as cigar and cigarettes. So how do you determine?
Well, we don't have any parks that actually have grills.
Well, we've cooked at the pavilion there.
We're gonna have you arrested. No, you're talking about at the farm.
No, at the.
Or Water's
there
Edge.
is
Oh.
there is at the farm, but we've cooked at the
Water's Edge one?
Water's Edge.
I guess I would refer to tobacco smoke.
That would be all right, except what if we were to take, obviously if you leave it to their own devices, they're going to smoke wherever they can get away with it. And maybe we should think about building just a secure tent like that they could go under if it's raining. They could go and they could smoke there, like possibly next to where the golf carts, the hand carts are. They could go past there, and the wind usually comes out of the west. It's either northwest, southwest, or west, and it would blow it back down opposite side of the pool. Just thinking out loud there.
That's why I wanted to have a conversation about it, just because I think.
It's gonna be more or less training the people.
Right.
That's what it's gonna be like.
Yeah, I have a comment. I am totally in favor of smoke-free. I'm outrageously allergic to tobacco smoke. Just walking through when the two cooks are out there, I'll have running eyes by the time I get to your office. So it's very simple for me. Just do it.
Leah said it, so we're doing it.
Let it be written. Let it be done.
Yep.
You have to change the guy's name from Smokies to Smoke Freeze.
Smoke.
Yeah, that's a misnomer.
Smokies on the water.
All right.
Well, that's why I didn't want to throw it out during the process, just to see where the three of them were as restaurant owners.
For it. That's good.
All right, subcommittee updates. Leah, you got anything for open space and greenways?
Yes, I do. I attended the meeting August 4th. The Manchester Trail needs major upgrades and maintenances, so requests for proposals were sent out. One replied, and the board approved that the spending of that money at the meeting, which I also at their meeting, which I also attended. The wood cutting is postponed until mid-September. That's all a part of the red oak wilt disease concern that the Open Space Commission is working with the forestry people to make public aware. They very much want community homeowners, et cetera, to check the red oaks that are on their property. I know there are some oaks on our golf course, so we need to check that. There's material.
Every year it's a different tree, it seems.
I know. Well, and this is really, it's really a concern because we've lost so many trees, and we're now down to that tree and some maples. And with the deer population on the island, it complicates it even more because they eat the little trees before they can get big enough. So, it's a real issue, and we're right on the cutting edge with trying to protect that. Pat Nielsen made a great presentation at the board, which you can see online, and I would urge everybody to take a look at that. There are pictures about what the leaves look like, what the bark looks like, etc., and we will continue to monitor that. They had the forestry trailer here. I don't know if any of you were able to get to that on August 22nd, but it was right there at Township Hall, as I recall. I'm not sure, but because I couldn't be, I was out of town. Let me see, what else do I have? Oh, Dump the Junk, which is a big thing that people look forward to, will be October 11 or 18, depending on what the schedule is of other events on the island. Sometimes you like to mix it up with that, but sometimes you don't want to. So that announcement will be coming out. And I think that's basically all I need to say.
Okay, cool. Any questions for Leah? All right, thanks.
Great.
All right, Bill, anything for golf?
Well, I think Brandy did an eloquent job of giving us an update on what's going on at the golf course. However, I've been on the golf course, and despite all the problems we've had, Mark and his team and the volunteers have done an excellent job. So I encourage everybody to come out, play the course, and don't forget we have foot golf, which I went into the hardware the other day to pick up a little item I need, and the kids, there were 5 kids in there buying soccer balls to play football, or golf. So you kids come on down and play it, and it hasn't interfered with anything. They're not going on the greens, and I'll be playing at Water's Edge tomorrow, so come on down and join us. There's a lot of room for golf. So,
question: What trees do you buy to replace over there at the golf course? What are you putting back in there?
Green ones. No, we've been using the Canadian. It's not a Canadian maple. It's a Canadian crown tree. That is. What's nice about we went over and talked to the guy that handles the trees, and we told him we wanted 3 different kinds of trees that are hardy and so far non-affected by these diseases, and that they don't grow to be 500 miles high. They grow to be like maybe 35 to 40 feet and about 40 feet wide, so that you have to go around them. And so we've been using that. There's a locust tree that we buy that is it's a little slower growing, but the other 2 that we buy, the Canadian one and it's like an oak tree, only it's a different variation of the standard oak tree because they can get awfully dirty. Oak trees can. And then in the spring, when the leaves finally come off of an oak tree, then it's really a mess on the course. So we buy this other oak that doesn't worry about that. And so far, they've been not affected. But the one that we like the most, or the one that's been, and all of these should grow faster than normal trees. So we've done a real good job. As a matter of fact, I got a call from the Senior League, and they want to buy another tree for the course. But I frankly haven't had the time to finalize that. So I think what I'll do is wait till spring. So, but yeah, come on down, play golf. It's a great place.
Thanks, Bill.
You know, and it's also fun to just watch the kids and their parents and so forth playing the foot golf.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is just a hoot.
Seen this yet. I gotta see.
Oh, it is a hoot.
We've had a lot of
Should have Ted out there videotaping this stuff. And
we've had a lot of adults play, not just kids. I mean, it's probably not 50-50, but it's maybe 65. I mean, 60-40. I mean, we've had a lot of adults come out.
and you're doing it like a par 3, a par 4. It's still like that then?
Absolutely, yep.
How come we don't do it with a tennis ball? A racket.
Oh, shh.
Or frisbees.
That'd be a frisbee. We could do frisbees.
All right, Marina, Mr. Swales, any updates?
So, Mr. Chair, just want to apologize for being late. You know, I had my dinner tonight for my Water's Edge Golf League guys and dolls. So,
Good.
And they were really positive on the prepay this year. They really enjoyed golfing here and the prepay, and we'll be back next year. But,
That's
Bill,
great.
they did still complain about, why don't you get rid of those 2 trees on number 7? Because everybody hits
we're
their
gonna plant another one
big
there.
complaint. But also, good comment on the fairways. Fairways were cut well all year,
Yeah.
as you have already said, in spite of the fire. Golf course well maintained.
Unfortunately, we lost that new tractor and cutter, and that was just doing a bang-up job.
I know, you know, and
I mean, I had tears in my eyes when I heard that thing burn up.
You had tears in your eyes.
As it goes to the marine, I really don't have a report, but I do have to say that the classic boat show that West River Club was wanting to sponsor has been canceled due to lack of interest. And, Mr. Chair, I agree with you. We're going to have to do something with the kayak fees. We've talked about it for years. We really need to improve our revenue, so I know we'll be able to take care of that next year. And I just want to say again, all the adversity that Water's Edge has had this year, I can't believe how well it's went. So, Brandy, so far it's been a real pleasure working with you. And
Very much.
there's a list of things here that I would have never expected would have happened, but you guys have been up to the challenge. Thank you.
Where are you sending me?
all right, any questions for Mike? All right, thanks, Mike. Centennial Farm, what do you got for us, Helene? Anything?
A little tiny bit. I know Brandy's been really busy with the burned out building and all that stuff at the Water's Edge Golf Course, but she is getting stuff done at the farm that has been long awaited. Removing the railroad ties, making it so that it can get mowed, dumping dirt or gravel on the gravel part of the driveway. She still has more to do, but I'm sure she's busy with the other stuff. I just want to remind everybody that September 19th, I think our next meeting's after that, but September 19th is your Grosse Ile Animal Shelter Fun Run, raising funds. All the proceeds will go to the animal shelter. There's the 5K run, and then there's a 1-mile walk. They're on Saturday, September 19th. You can bring your dog. They want only well-behaved dogs, and no leash is longer than 6 feet.
Every owner's going to say their dog's
I know.
well behaved.
Mine are all really well-behaved.
I can attest to that.
I have some questions about the farm. How are we doing on the roof on Red Barn?
The roof?
The roof.
I thought it was the
Wasn't the Red Barn roof?
Yes, it was the Red Barn, the Centennial Barn.
yeah.
I was told it was fixed, but then Rob texted not too long ago that it was still leaking. I was on the phone with Mr. Lauer, and Rob happened to be walking by at the same time.
Oh, perfect.
So they connected, and they were going to meet out there in the next 10 or 15 minutes, and I didn't hear anything back, so I'm assuming that they worked something out. I'll double check with him.
Generally, no news is good news. Okay.
Yep, so that is...
Okay. Go ahead. I got more.
I had a community member ask me about the leaking with the door
in the activity center.
The door wall.
the door wall and the gutters, et cetera.
Yeah, we fixed how it was leaking in, so it's not leaking in any longer. But we do need to replace the floor, and so that is. I'm hoping that it will.
Sorry. That sounds kind of like a little bit modern for you there.
Yeah, I don't know how to work this thing.
Is there a deadline on the floor
Sounds like
replacement?
Coldplay.
I'm trying to do it in this budget year, so that means before April. I'm just with a lot with bids and stuff going on right now.
we're getting.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's on my to-do list for the farm. I'm hoping it'll be. It's budgeted in this year, so hopefully the activity center will be there, and then I'm hoping by the end of fall, before winter, that we can clean up some of that landscaping and finish off where the railroad ties are. It's still on my to-do list, and it's been on the back burner, but we're still working on it.
And then the dog park. I meant to print off the email you sent me, though. But tell us, Commissioner, again about the monies that you sat down and talked with Ann and about licensing or whatever that stuff. How does the monies work again for the dog park? How does it work?
Caught me off guard here. I believe what happens is when dog tags to register your dog, when those are bought through the township, it goes into the general fund and then goes into the police budget, which has the animal shelter underneath it. When you purchase the dog park pass, that goes into an escrow account under donations for the animal shelter. So that's how the fees that are brought in.
Monies, okay, so that goes for there. But the fencing, you did get with Joe, and we are going to work on something to repair that fence.
The fence is going to be replaced.
You have a timeline for that happening this year?
This year.
Okay. I think that's it then. Anything else about the farm? All right.
Nope.
Thanks, Helena. Airport rec area. Greg.
Just to let everybody know, Gyra, Giza, and Grossville Hockey, they've all started up their seasons. All the contact information is in the channels that's been mailed out. So if you got any specific questions, you can contact the contact persons there.
I seen that area was just buzzing on the way over.
Yeah, that's when I came in. Yep.
Oh, wow.
All about cheerleaders, football players, soccer players. Winter's going to be coming quick. Gyra Hockey. They mentioned that they wanted to donate some nuts. We got to follow up on that too. To get that. All right. Any questions for the airport rec area? All right. Here's the senior citizens. Ethel, I'm sure you probably have nothing to say, right?
Not a word. Okay, the Senior Citizen Club programs are continuing. On September the 8th, we're going to do reminiscences of the Verner's Ginger Ale Company on Woodward Avenue in Detroit and the Poplar Inn Restaurant on Sibley Road at the railroad tracks in Riverview.
Oh, boy.
And October the 13th, Pam Frushi will talk about the Red Oak Wilt concern. And both of these are at the Centennial Farm at 12 noon. And the coffee hour begins at 11:30 a.m. And the van service is available for seniors and also for others with medical reasons who are no longer able to drive for doctor's appointments and groceries and things like that. And on the island, it's $5, off island $6, Monday through Friday, 1 through 5 p.m. And you call at least 24 hours ahead of time, 734-675-2364 or 734-216-4905. And the next senior luncheon sponsored by the Rec Department is Oktoberfest, Wednesday, October 14, 12:30 p.m. at Centennial Farm. Advance tickets only, $10, which is a great value. And register at the Rec Department, Water's Edge, or call 734-675-2364. And
If
then
they're adventurous, they can register online now.
I can go online. I wasn't sure about that.
Yep, we put the
Okay,
senior lunches
very
on this
good.
time. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gonna let them or give it a try.
Ethel, you got your computer?
Me? No. And then, as Brandy mentioned before, the fall and winter channels have been mailed to the homes. And please retain your copy for future reference for all activities. And you can also get this on Grosse Ile Cable TV, Comcast Channel 12, WOW Channel 10, AT&T Channel 99. Thank you.
Everything covered. Any questions for Ethel? All right, moving on. The Playscape can we change this to Sunrise Park from now on? We want to change that, get rid of that.
Sorry, I did not notice that.
All right,
did I?
what do you got for us on the Playscape and Sunrise Park?
The excuse me, the Playscape. I have another huge thank you to the Kiwanis of Grosse Ile. Not only have they adopted the Playscape for doing all that beautiful painting that's been going on and maintenance, making repairs when there's been some vandalism. The Kiwanis was able to enlist the services of a company called Turf Concepts, Ryan Robinson and Jeremy Giles, who worked today at the Playscape this morning to spray for those phragmites, those tall things that are kind of the eastern edge of the Playscape. It's to get rid of the phragmites and should keep them away for a couple years, at least. That was sprayed this morning, and the Playscape was closed while the spraying was done. Not that it would be a danger to people, but it's just easier to have no interference kind of thing. So just keep people clear, and that will get rid of the phragmites. And then once that was dry, then the Playscape was reopened. So really, it's like any other kind of spray. It's fine to
Had
go
it
on
closed
once
9
it's
to
dry.
noon just to be safe.
Right. Let's see. Jeremy and Ryan donated their services, so there was no cost at all to the township. The labor and all the chemicals were donated for free. So a thank you and a shout out to Turf Concepts. Then please visit the Playscape. There's been some beautiful reworking done as far as painting and by the Kiwanis members. They're going to set up probably another day maybe for some sprucing up in the fall. I'll let people know. And now, instead of being East River Road and Park, the new park at the end of East River and Parkway is now called Sunrise Park. The name was approved by the Township Board, so it's Sunrise Park. In fact, Brandy, on the cover of the channels is a picture of Sunrise Park in the morning.
That picture was taken the very first morning that they did the very first cleanup. So once it was purchased from the county, there was a large cleanup that happened, and there was the old buildings and stuff that were down there, and that picture was taken the very first morning. And after we had our meeting, our final meeting where we were naming the park, Dale had went through his folder, his park folder, and he found some pictures, and so he sent them to me, and he said, you've got to look at this picture, and it's a beautiful sunrise. So it was very appropriate that that's what the park ended up being named.
The name Sunrise Park was actually submitted by two people, Ethel Yops and Emily Wash. So again, thank you, Ethel.
Oh, thank you.
And also to Emily. We'll do a naming ceremony at some point. And again, another thank you to the Kiwanis for all their help at the Playscape.
We got to work on a sign for that site now, right?
Yes.
Sign for that. The Playscape. What about are we doing? We do wood chips this year for all the Playscape areas, or are we good with
We have
ground
not.
cover? Are we good? Are we looking all
I'm
right
going to
then?
have some more afterwards.
Any questions for Ed? School update. Natalie, what do you got for us since school is ready to start here?
Yeah.
Senior year now?
Yes, it is my senior year.
All right.
So my first day of high school will be September 8th. Our fall sports, everyone's already starting up now, but we'll have football, girls golf, volleyball, sideline cheer, boys soccer, boys and girls cross country, equestrian girls swim, boys and girls sailing, and boys tennis. The first football game is against Parma-Jackson County Western tomorrow night at 7, but it's away, so it's an hour and a half. So.
And who is it against?
Parma-Jackson County Western. I think they're new to our league, which is weird because they're an hour and a half away. They're real far out.
Wow.
I think they're west of Jackson.
Yeah.
Where Dina came from.
Yeah, that's.
The superintendent? Oh.
All right, so that's like real far away. But the next week, September 4th, it's home against Monroe Jefferson, so I'll be there. You guys should be there too. I mean, maybe not in the student section. You might want to not want to be there, but it's always good to come out and support your school. So fall rowing isn't necessarily like a school sport in the fall. We are a club sport, but we will be having our season this fall. I will have a date for the bottle drive when I come and knock on your door and beg for cans. Favorite 2 days of the year. But I don't have the date yet, but it'll be coming soon. And also our boat club was approved. So we will be starting on that. I'm not sure. I don't have all the information on that. I know they're going to start like elementary programs to get kids rowing like real early. So once those kids in like first grade, like they'll be learning in first grade, and by the time they're in high school, that boat club might already be built, and they might already be able to like start. So like starting
West Shore.
early.
Talking about the one by West Shore.
Yeah, I got approved. I think it was like a grant or something. I don't know, but it's going. I'm excited. I mean, I won't be able to do anything in there right now, but I'm happy that the program will have this new opportunity later. Freshman orientation ran by juniors and seniors is August 31st. Not that that has anything to do with you guys, but it is run by students, so that's something I'm proud to say, and I'll be there too. This week is band camp, so everyone in marching band is at camp right now learning the show, and this year's show is Ray Charles, and they'll be at every home football game, I think. The homecoming game is October 2nd against Milan. Our float themes are like temperate zones. I'm not sure how that came up, but the seniors, our float is going to be like a rainforest, so that should be really cool. And the fall, like theater is usually a musical, but I don't think we've decided on anything yet. That's it.
Cool. Any questions for Natalie? All right, thanks. All right, extended public comment. Anything? Anyone? Yep.
Good evening. My name's Craig Pilkington. This kind of goes in concert with what Brandy was talking about. And I'm a smoker, first of all. I happen to be down at the waterfront park, which is Sunrise Park, taking a couple of pictures about 10 days ago. Beautiful sunrise. The unfortunate thing is I noticed as I was taking a picture of the stone and plaque that was dedicated to Dr. Jones, is you had tops from what looked like were McDonald's soft drinks that were on the ground, actually. They were in the picture that I was taking, as well as a bunch of cigarette butts on the ground. And I don't think it would hurt to... It didn't look like there was a trash container down there. It looks like there's a trash container at the top of the stairs. I don't think it would hurt to put one down there, and maybe even to put something on GITV. And I think there are other Facebook pages that can put it out to say keep our parks clean and green.
Well, we don't have
and it was very disappointing.
We don't have a trash can down there because items have been thrown into the water, and until we have some kind of stationary trash receptacle, we have chosen just to keep it at the top so it wouldn't end up in the water.
Well, and it really shouldn't be a problem to carry that to the top of the stairs, should it? I'm 60, and I was able to make it up with two of them. You know, and it's unfortunate. And if you were going to talk about a smoke-free policy, that's certainly one of the parks that you may want to add to the scope.
I think we would want to enforce it at all the parks. You know, the farm, the park.
You know, I'm a smoker, but that's my choice, and it's my burden to bear. And it would be nice, certainly, at Smokies or down there to have some area, but. I don't have any problem with it. I don't want my children to smoke. And I think most smokers would probably endorse that. And we've got e-cigarettes and gum and all kinds of other things. So there are plenty of ways that we can deal with our addictions. That is really about the extent of it tonight, and thank you very much.
How did the pictures turn out?
Pictures were very good. Although I need to put up the one with the stone and with the... actually, with the top from the soft drink to make a point.
Yeah, to make a point.
You know, that it is our joint responsibility. So, thanks.
I just want to make a comment. Terry and I went to Grand Cayman, and what a beautiful island, and then you know how the islands are. They're just so gorgeous, and I only noticed this more in Grand Cayman than I have in any of the other islands we visited. But that island was surrounded by trash. Anything that doesn't degrade, like water bottles, milk bottles, gallon water bottles, plastic plates. It was just absolutely everywhere except in the facility that you're at. They had a guy go down and he cleaned that up. Sure. But to the right of there and to the left of there, it was a mess. And that just saddened me because even in the remote areas where you wouldn't expect people to go, the beaches were just, and the shoreline was just littered with this
That's a shame.
mess. And it really made me sick, and it still makes me sick. I don't know where people get the brains to do that kind of thing, but...
Way to depress us now. Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
So stay in Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, our island's better than Cayman. All right, individual comments. Mike, got anything to add, Mike?
Craig.
Got something else.
I'm so sorry. You know, I'm getting older. It's the CRS. Yeah. You're going to have to conserve cash as you replace everything in the warehouse. I don't know whether, you've looked at industrial auction sites, but while you were mentioning it, I just happened to go onto bidspotter.com, and of course you can still put it back on the books and depreciate it fully. Ending within the next week, you've got auctions for 54 and 6-inch zero-turn mowers. You've got a Kubota tractors. You've got a number of things that if you've ever been at industrial auctions and bid, and I'm sure that some of you have before, if you wait and you keep your powder dry and know what you want to pay, you can make some really good deals and conserve your cash. And this is, again, on bidspotter.com. Please consider that. Okay, thanks.
Want to add something?
Good evening. I want to make a comment.
State your name, please, and address.
Oh, Timothy Walker, Grosse Ile. Mrs. Yops was speaking about the Poplar Inn. I think there's only about 4 of us in this room that are old enough to have ever been there. And Leah was talking about the trees dying. I got to Grosse Ile early enough in my life that I remember the Dutch elm disease. And I like the conversation about not smoking in certain of the public lands. A good place for people to be not smoking is in the various open spaces the township has. Summertime, the leaves on the ground get very dry, and somebody flicks a cigarette butt down, it would be really easy for a fire to start. Out on the West Coast, they have that problem all the time. Now, we've had a couple tenants at the restaurant over the years, and it seems like they are always complaining about we can't make enough money to pay the rent. And they always end up being given a reduction in their rent. We'll forget about two months of the rent. Our new tenant has got 2 other restaurants in addition to the one that they're going to have on the island. They should be relatively solvent financially. And Brandy, this comment is sort of in your direction, but also the rest of the commission. Lease should provide for annual increases in the rent based on CPI or some other index, so that the township isn't just constantly lowering the rent and making it a bigger burden on the taxpayers. Also, the township should be furnished tax returns or tax schedules from the tenant for that operation, the one that's here on the island, not the one that they have in Wyandotte or their third location, wherever it is. But that kind of gives you an idea as to whether, gives the township board and this commission an idea as to just how well they're doing. Mr. Sharkey never had to provide that information. All he had to do is say, I can't make enough money here. And yet he's got a catering business that probably is doing quite well. One of the things that I would like to hear you guys talk about, guys and ladies, Mr. Swales approached the Communication Commission a couple years, last year or the year before, about having Wi-Fi at Water's Edge. Right now, Water's Edge is just about the only marina downriver that does not have Wi-Fi. I believe it's at the 3 boat clubs here on the island, Gibraltar, Humbug, that marina that's, I guess it's county-owned down near Newport. Pier 500 has it. It seems like everybody who's got a marina has Wi-Fi installed. And one of the things that helps people make up their mind as to where they're going to put their boat and pay their money are the amenities. And I'm going to say this. Water's Edge has got one hell of a good amenity that none of the other marinas have. It's a swimming pool, but not everybody cares about that swimming pool. But most boaters that I know of care about Wi-Fi so that when they're on their boat, they can be in contact with their office. They can do work on their boats. I spent several days a week on my boat, and without cable TV and Wi-Fi, I'd spend a heck of a lot less time there. Bill mentioned to me earlier tonight, when he's on his boat, he doesn't want to see a TV set, and he doesn't want to see Wi-Fi. Well, a lot of boaters don't feel that way. That is something that I would hope you guys consider putting in your budget. Maybe you can get the DDA to pay for it.
That's the DDA, that's the Downtown Development Authority. That wouldn't be strictly for the Macomb Street.
Okay.
Really, I hope that that the Communication Commission would do that.
They don't exist.
Well, they got to be coming back soon, right? We do have a communication director. Ted.
Okay, he's a paid employee of the township. Next, I'm very curious as to how much money the township has collected on transient dockage during the month of July this year, and I'll be interested for the month of August and September, as well as the corresponding numbers for last year.
Look at our budgets. That would be all in our budgets about that. It's a line item.
That budget is a bunch of bull. You budget $3,000. You collect about $600 or $700. I used to budget $3,000 at Grosse Ile Yacht Club. We collected between $3,000 and $5,000 many years. Our budgeting is better, and our collection is better.
It's a yacht club. Of course, it's better. You got people that actually work down there. We have volunteers.
I think the people at the yacht club get paid. It's all volunteer crap.
That's all work hours you guys got to do, right? You guys got to put in work hours, don't you?
I never kept track of work hours. I was a Life Active member. I didn't have work hours.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know people that are at the Grosse Ile Yacht Club, they got work hours. Ford Yacht Club, work hours. Albemarle, everyone. We don't have work hours at Water's Edge. It's a public one. It's not a private.
It may be public, but you're dealing with taxpayer dollars that you either don't collect or you should be collecting. And,
we do the best we can.
Randy and I had a conversation.
Tim, if you want them, I'd be happy to provide them. I don't know that I can find last year's transient, but I can give you this year's. Come by and I'll be happy to give them to you.
Okay.
Send them to me.
Mail or email? How do you want them? What do you mean send them to you?
And I would also be interested in knowing how our golfing revenue is this year versus last year.
Our what?
Golf revenue.
Oh, okay.
I'd be interested in knowing what it is for July in August and September for both this year and last year. And that is about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Individual comments. Mike, anything you want to add?
No, Mr. Chair.
Greg?
Nothing at this time?
Helena?
No.
Bill?
I don't know. A quick comment is thanks to the Recreation Department for the wonderful concerts down at Water's Edge. That was a big success because I wanted to go twice, and I would have had to park in Nebraska to get to the music. But it was beautiful when we drove by. And also the township and the, I'm not sure who does this, but at the Commons, they have the music on Sunday night. Well, the last concert on Sunday night is the concert. That concert is going to be given by the Picks and Bows, which has a very wide variety of music, and it's our last one of the year. And everyone that I've been to, which is quite a few, has been very well attended. So get there early, get your seat, and enjoy the music. And hopefully the weather will be a beautiful late summer weather. Thank you.
Thank you. Leah, anything you want to add?
Yes, I do. Just give me a sec here.
Okay.
First of all, I told you I was at the board meeting, and I just want to publicly thank Brandy for her wonderful presentation. It was professional, it was detailed, it was well received by the board, and I was just very proud to be able to say that's our director. Great job.
Should we keep her?
Yeah, I'm in favor. I would remind people or suggest that people on the island be alert. The Downriver Association of University Women is going to begin collecting books for their annual book sale in October, and the barrels will be at Kroger's. And so I will be collecting them on Monday, I think. And so please bring clean books. I don't want any gum on my hands. I don't want any cigarettes on my hands.
No peanut butter?
Just books. No peanut butter, no fish, nothing. Thank you. And then I would also, I'm beginning to feel like I'm Ethel Yops tonight.
They do now.
I'm a docent at the Detroit Institute of Arts, and the 8 Inside Out reproductions that are out and about, one at the Commons, one at the church, one at the Township Hall, blah, blah, blah. They're wonderful. We've had successful bicycle rides. We've had car rides. And Carol Knopp is the one to contact if you'd like to have an escort. There are 3 of us from the DIA who volunteer, Flora Case, Addie Fernschild, and myself. And so if you contact her, she'll contact us. Our phone numbers are on the phone book. You could call us personally, too, I suppose. And then just be alert on this red oak thing, this red oak wilt. It's really a scary thing.
All right, thank you. Ann, anything else you want to add?
Nope. I'm good. Hope everybody enjoys the last of the summer.
Ethel,
We got 3 more weeks of summer. It's not over yet.
it's supposed to be like
Summer's
80s,
over.
I think, by the
Very,
weekend.
very long fall.
Week 80s all week.
Ethel, anything to add?
Yes, please. We have some good news from the board meeting the other night. Beginning in September, the Trenton Trib will feature 2 pages of Grosse Ile news, thanks to Pam Prushy for her efforts. This paper is published monthly in Trenton, and it's free. And information is 734-676-0850 or www.trentontrib.com. And then I'd like to thank St. Thomas Lutheran Church for opening the church last Sunday on the 23rd in the evening. The concert on the Commons was moved due to rain, and the barbershop quartet was wonderful and was enjoyed indoors by about 90 people. Wow. And then Bill mentioned the last concert on the Commons. That's St. Thomas's own Picks and Bowl. And then Sunday, September the 13th, St. Thomas volunteers will be working at Centennial Farm. Community service in place of their church service. Thank you. Yes, dear.
Natalie, anything to add?
Nope.
I just have one quick thing I wanted to mention.
All right. Brandy, anything to add?
The only thing on our website, the picture of the channels brochure is still the summer one, but if you click on it, it is the fall one. I need an image of the cover to make it that little icon. So if you click on anything, it'll take you to the new brochure, but currently the little picture is still the summer brochure. But
hit the channels and
it'll
be
still
right.
take you to the new channels. I should have it up by tomorrow. I'm waiting for the image from the printers.
Bill, you said you wanted to add something?
Just one, I wanted to mention that at the corner of East River and Church is St. Anne's Chapel. St. Anne's Chapel this year, we just celebrated 100 years that has been on site. And Sacred Heart Church obviously is part of St. Anne Chapel. And we had a big celebration. And if you get a chance, we're going to put up a commemorative plaque. And so you'll get a chance to go by and look at the building. It's in beautiful shape, and I believe the door is always open. So come on down and visit that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, 9:09, motion
to adjourn, Chairman.
Second?
Second.
Bill?
Who was that?
Mike was first, then Bill was second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Enjoy your evening, and please volunteer in your community. Thank you.